Being a new mom is one of the most thrilling and exhausting parts of my life. I felt so inexperienced because I was, and I also felt a hunger to learn because there seemed like a million decisions to make. There were lots of well meaning people giving me their input, their opinions, and sometimes even their negativity. And I would have loved to pick another mom's brain, especially a mom who wasn't just going off of theory or parenting books, while those can be helpful. But I really wished I could have talked to a mom who had been doing the mom thing for a while and also wasn't jaded by motherhood. I want to try to be that mom for you today. I won't gloss over the hard stuff, but I also want to leave you with lots of practical tips and also lots of hope for the journey ahead. If you're new here, my name's Lana. I'm a mom of 5, and I help new moms who are living in a state of overwhelm and sleep deprivation transform into the capable, faithful, and peaceful mothers they have always longed to become. If that's you, I would love for you to stay and hit subscribe. Before we dive in, I know I'm talking to new moms, but just in case you also happen to be pregnant, I wanted to let you know that I have a free workshop that helps pregnant women transform their whole birthing experience. After 5 natural births, I have learned some birthing game changers that I really, really want you to know, so the link is down below. The first thing I wish I knew was that just because it's hard doesn't mean that something is wrong. Seriously, I really, really thought when I was a first time, even second time mom, oh my goodness, I'm meeting a lot of resistance. This is really hard. Something must be wrong. But what I want you to know and what I wish I knew is that anytime you start any kind of new job, there's going to be a huge learning curve that usually wouldn't be called easy. The good news is that the baby phase does get easier. By the time my second rolled around, I had a bit more confidence in what I was doing. And certainly by the third baby phase, it was way easier. If you've ever done any kind of working out, think of this like hard as in a working pain, not a hurting pain. The working pain is doing a productive, muscle building kind of work in us. And the same can happen if we allow the hard parts of motherhood to do their work in our hearts as well. I just wish I had known the first time around that just because motherhood was hard doesn't mean I was doing something wrong. Motherhood is just hard sometimes, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially if we are allowing the Lord to do a work in our heart and our minds through it. The second thing I wish I knew as a new mom is that it's important to do the right thing with my pain. I'm piggybacking off the last one a bit more, but what I did when things got hard the first time around was I either felt sorry for myself or I became bitter at my husband because I felt like I was pulling more weight than he was. This is something I talk a lot about on my channel. We have 3 choices of what we can do with all the pain in life. 1, we can act like a victim, feel sorry for ourselves, waiting for someone to come save us, aka me every time. 5:30 would roll around when I had 2 under 2, waiting for my husband to ride through the door and save me from my solo mom duties. 2, we can act like a villain. A villain rises up in their pain, says, enough, no one will ever make me feel like this again, and how dare you do this to me? AKA every time I've ever been an angry mom. And the third option is to take on the challenge and all the pain it brings with it on the behalf of others. This is called the hero's journey, and every hero has a guide who has been there and done that. So that is what you will get to do for other new moms one day if you persevere through these hard parts of motherhood, learn from them for the sake of your kids and all the other new moms you'll get to help one day. So I just wish I had done the right thing with all the hard parts and pain of motherhood instead of just feeling sorry for myself or getting angry or bitter. The third thing I wish I had known is that motherhood is a lot more fun with other women. Instead of feeling siloed and alone in motherhood, I wish I had just planned a bit more walking stroller dates with coffee or just invited more women over. Not so much for my baby or toddler, but for me. I mean, being at home with a little one is amazing, but honestly, it can be a bit understimulating to the brain. And I think that's where social media really preys on women and their need to have their minds stimulated, but nothing can take the place of the life-giving friendship. We are all needy and we are all needed, and that's the way we're made, and it's a good thing. And I just wish it hadn't taken me so long to realize that I was as free as I wanted to be to make friends. It would just take some creativity, intentionality to make it happen with a baby in tow. Okay, the fourth thing I wish I had known is that limiting inputs would also help me feel less spread thin as a mom. I have gone on this really personal, kind of crazy, radical journey of limiting inputs in my life because I felt like they were spreading me thinner as a mom. I wasn't able to give as much to my kids, and it was just kind of making me feel ADHD in life. So social media just was exposing me to a stream of a lot of other people's thoughts and opinions, and also just really tough news that sometimes was very draining on my energy. So I made the decision for me personally just to get off Instagram, just for my mental health. So I got off, even though a lot of people were like, why not just cut it down a little bit, Lana? Like for me, I just needed it out of my life for this season. I just decided I needed that input gone from my life. And as a new mother, I feel like it can be a lot of input, not to mention the people in real life, like we talked about earlier, who might be weighing in on every mothering move we try to make. So I just wish I had limited how much I was allowing other people to speak in so I could get a bit more quiet with the Lord and see how He wanted me to uniquely mother. But the other voices were just so loud. So, yes, I just wish I had known that the inputs were draining me as a new mom and that I could limit them if I wanted to. I want to pause. Tell me down below, how have you limited all the noisy inputs on your journey so far? I know we are all looking for ideas on how to be wise with screens and social media, so please share your wisdom down below for other mamas. The fifth thing I wish I had given more weight to is the power of surrounding myself with women I respect and who also have the right priorities and how that would make me a better mom. This is a little bit different from the point of like the friends that I wished I had had, even though it kind of ties in. But can you think of some women right now in your circle that you do want to be more like? Maybe you respect how consistent they are with their kids or how they don't seem super uptight or how they actually like their kids. Maybe their kids are older and you think their kids are amazing adults. Spending time with those mamas has helped me grow so much as a mother, just watching and learning how they do what they do. This makes me think of the verse that bad company corrupts good character. I saw this in my life when I allowed myself to get too close to mothers with not the best character. And I've also seen this work in reverse when getting close to those who are highly intentional, Christ-centered mamas. The sixth thing is I wish I had known that there are a lot of really good ways to be a good mom. I recently had an amazing comment on my video that I think speaks to this because I think her and I spent many years of mothering trying to do it just right. Okay, so just for context, this gal left a comment on my video that was like, what's the hardest jump? Is it 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4? And she's talking about at the very beginning why it was so hard for her. I realize now that everything was just harder because of the 30 plus books on parenting I was reading. I was trying to find the ultimate way of raising kids, and the biggest lesson my children taught me is that a mom needs to trust herself and especially God and let go of all the pressures to do things in a certain way. Most of the times, every family functions in their own way, and it is okay. Then she also gave a caveat. I'm not talking about extreme things that would qualify as abuse, but she's talking about like co-sleeping, sleep training, food-related principles, screen time, homeschool, public school, private school. I think all these normative books that was reading ultimately stole away my joy and my self-confidence and made me feel miserable and helpless. Every child is unique, and what works on one doesn't necessarily work on another. I agree that the Bible gives guidelines and allows for diverse parenting. Parenting is about factoring in yourself, the family conditions, the circumstances, the unique child you're raising, and it is never easy. Once I accepted this, life was more joyful, and I actually like my children, and I like to do life with them. They are now 14, 11, and 9 years old. So I think she was onto something. And sometimes we are trying so hard to get things just right that we suck all the joy, all the play, the adventure, and just the fun out of motherhood. But there are a lot of parenting experts out there just telling us like the perfect way, the right way. And yet I feel like the Lord gave each of our children to us on purpose, keeping God's word close and being a student of others' teaching, but not necessarily a follower. I think is key. Being a follower of Christ, being a student of others. Okay, so tell me below, do you feel this pressure in getting things just right as a new mom? How have you been handling that? I would love for you to share that below. And the seventh thing I wish I knew sooner is that the Lord is disciplining me while I discipline my kids. God is doing a work in me every single time I have to pause what I'm doing and take care of all the needs of my children, whether it be a diaper, a heart issue, or just a coaching mother as a moment for my kids in the bathroom where we're just talking again about that situation. Every time I have to pause what I'm doing, I feel like the Lord is doing a work in me. So I have been at my worst in mothering when I felt like I just couldn't be bothered. When I would put off dealing with like a key heart issue thinking it would just go away, but a wise woman builds up her house, and I believe that is how the Lord builds us up too. All of mothering has moments of inconvenience, but that is where we are growing the most if we just really allow the Lord to do a work in us there. The eighth thing I wish I knew is that kids will keep me fun and young if I let them. Kids are such a gift. Sure, checklist and productivity is fun, but when I step out of the cares and worries of being an adult, kids and their imaginative minds are just honestly the best stress relief and escape. And yes, I will have to leave dishes in the sink sometimes and some laundry unfolded, but I know my house will be perfectly clean when everybody is left and they go to start their own lives. But for now, they are home and I want to give them my attention as best I can. Kids are not a burden. I know our culture says that, but they're not. And for many years, a kid's greatest wish is just to have the full attention of their parents. I'm not saying that to make us feel guilty because sometimes we just got to get stuff done. But I'm just talking about sometimes we do have to put that stuff aside and just be present and give them our eye contact and our full attention. And now my favorite days in motherhood are when we hit the local trails, we get outside together, and we just kind of see where the day takes us. My kids are honestly just as much my teacher as I am theirs. The older I get, the more I see why Jesus loved children so much and wanted the little children to freely come to him. The ninth thing took me at least 3 kids in to really understand. And it's very basic, but it's very practical. Getting sunshine and green in my life helps my mental health and allows the kids to just be kids. When I look back on my camera feed from 2 under 2, there was hardly any green in it. I was inside a lot. And yes, I tried to get outside, but they were just little walks here and there. But allowing kids to get down, explore, be outside for extended periods of time has been better for my mental health than any amount of therapy honestly could ever do for me. And in Japan, they call getting out in nature forest bathing. And just notice the next time you get out on a trail that is completely enclosed with trees and notice how your stress level just starts to plummet. Outside is a kid's natural habitat. They can be messy, they can be wild, loud, and it's all okay. The founder of 1,000 Hours Outside has stated that she really did not like being a mom until she discovered the power of packing lunch and spending extended time outside with her kids. And I wish I knew this sooner. When I feel myself getting in a bad place, just mentally, I just can't seem to kick it. I have to, for that moment, drop the chores in the school, and we take the whole day at a local garden and just hit the trails. We might pick up some donuts or some coffee at a local spot close by, and then I just come home as a new mama. I come home with fresh energy and new perspective. I would have probably just burned my house down, with my emotional state that day, and no amount of productivity would have been worth breaking relationships. So for me, I've just noticed when I get to that bad spot, for me personally, I need sunshine, I need green, and my kids need the freedom to just be outside. The last thing I wish I knew as a new mom is that I can only control myself. So putting my energy back on being healthy spiritually, physically, mentally, breathe so much life back into my home as long as I'm not making like an idol of myself. And I love this quote from a homeschool book I enjoy, but I think the quote goes beyond homeschool because we are our children's first teachers. She says, "A peaceful and happy mother is the real key to a successful, peaceful home." I became a peaceful and happy mama when I learned to be content with my own preferences and no longer strove to be like those women whose strengths are different than my own. That's Sarah Mackenzie, the author of, oh my goodness, so many different books, but the Read Aloud Revival. And I think that she's onto something there. She became a peaceful and happy mom when she learned that she liked certain things and she didn't like certain things. Like if we're forcing ourselves to like glitter when we don't like glitter, I would much rather get messy in the kitchen than break out a ton of glitter. I will break out glitter here and there, but I just think that so many times we see a mom we respect and we want to be just like them, or we see a mom on social media and we want to just be like them. But really, we need to tune into how the Lord has made us. That's really good. And that's who our kids need us to be, is the mom that the Lord gave them. So the time is just too short, I feel like, to give our energy to trying to be like other moms. We just need to be the mother God is helping us each to become for our unique children. So tell me down below, which point do you resonate with the most? Are there any you disagree with? I strive to be as unoffendable as possible. Not perfect, but I'm striving for that. And because we are all learning and growing as moms, I want you to tell me what you think. If you're a new mom or you're soon to have your first baby in your arms, I'm thrilled for you. Motherhood is literally the best. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Planned or unplanned, your baby is such a blessing, and I am so happy for you, mama. This whole channel is here to be a resource for you, help you transform into the more capable, peaceful mom you have always dreamt of becoming. So I hope you will stay and hit subscribe. And if you want another video to help you on your motherhood journey, consider checking out this video on what the hardest number of kids is. It might not be the number you're thinking of. So I hope you'll go check that out, and sending love your way, Mama. See you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good, He led me to where I'm at. Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in, but everything happens for a reason. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand, just like iron sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together.